Hi, my name is David, and this is the 2024 Holiday Hack Challenge Act 2. We're going to look at the challenge called Snowball Showdown. I am a little bit concerned about this video because I wanted to show this through Burpsuit and using the built-in Chromium browser, but Burp, as always, I decided to install an update and the Holiday Hack Challenge does not load in properly. So I'm just going to use a Chrome browser. Also, Firefox has a lot of problems these days with the Holiday Hack Challenge game and some other sites as well. So the idea here is that I will do my best to just explain the solution with the browser. Mostly you really just need a browser. A certain details, certain artifacts are easier to spot using the Zap or Burp Suite kind of attack proxy. But I think we're gonna be okay. So let's check the challenge. So our Snowball Showdown challenge is a 2 out of 5 difficulty level 1, which is, I think, kind of accurate. It has parts that are slightly more difficult compared to the Elf Connect game. Certainly much easier than the Elf Minder, which I think used to be a 1 difficulty level 1, which I still don't understand that one. For me, that was very, very challenging. But this one is a nice little challenge. So for this one, we need to... Who do we need to talk to? Let me just check. Dusty gift wrap. Okay, according to my notes, it's Dusty who we need to talk to. This is not mentioned here. So let's try to locate Dusty. I think it's this challenge here. So we're going to use the toilet tunnel network and travel here, for example. I can also travel to this one. Let's pick this one here. Okay, and here we go. So Dusty is up here, and let's see. I don't think he is explaining anything special here. It's just about a conflict between Alabaster and a Wombly, and Wombly is our competition here. I wouldn't call enemy. I mean, we're all elves here, but we need to take care of him and throw some snowballs at Wombly, making sure that Alabaster has less snowballs hitting them. And we don't have any hints for this challenge. It's just the game. As we click on the game, this is a game that by default would be for 2 players. You can create another account and join in, and that is kind of the single player mode, or you can manipulate the game, of course, and in this case it is a variable in the game. Let me just get the developer consoles and see if I can find that detail about the game. With the sources. Now this is the one that I'm a bit concerned about, but if we're lucky, oh, okay. I think it's not this part here. Yeah, we need to select one, and then I think it's gonna be on the next page. Yeah, that kind of makes sense actually. So we can pick a random match or create a private room. Doesn't really matter. I'm gonna pick a private room in this case. There we go. Game HTML. This is the one that I wanted to show you. So game HTML, if you start looking into the JavaScript code, there is a single player option. You can store this value as a local store value, or there is also a check for URL parameters, and I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see this one, but there is the single player parameter just above my head over there. So it's, I know it's teeny tiny, but I won't be able to zoom into the URL bar. I can do some justice with the code part though. So we have here the single player option. So we're going to use this to reload the game. The game engine itself, the logic is in the Snowball game part. I'm gonna squeeze the game even further. Once we start playing, I'll go back. So actually, so you can see here the game is using A and D. You can move left to right, and you can see that you can throw snowballs at not exactly amazing speed, but it is, well, kind of decent. And you need to sometimes throw it in an angle because you have these like hovering platforms, and the goal is to hit Wombly. Okay, that's the goal. You can also see that it's kind of like a worms clone, so the environment is fully destructible, and this can get us some advantage. And there will be a timer, and then the hits. Now I can actually click on ready here and see that nothing happens. And if you run into this, that's because it's meant to be for 2 players. If we set it to a single player though, then the game will start. But first, I would like to take a look inside the code here. There are some obvious details that you can easily spot. There we go. For example, immediately the throw rate, the throw speed. So we can see these in the constructors. I'm going to mark these just to make it easier. So I'm going to set breakpoints here, but I'm not going to manipulate these variables. My experience is that these ones are not exactly the easiest, the most convenient ones to manipulate, and there are also some checks in the game. So if we go to line 679 actually, so 679 is where you have also the blast radius. Now this one you have to be very careful. I would skip this one too. If I directly try to manipulate this one, I think there is some cheat validation and it crashes the game. So don't change these ones. And instead of changing these, what I did, I was just looking where the variables are being used. And that's actually the next line that I not only want to set a breakpoint, but I also would like to modify this one later. The reason why I'm not modifying it right now is because the game reloads as I said the single player variable. So I'm just marking the locations for myself where I potentially would like to manipulate the code later. We can also see here the speed of the projectile. The throw speed is a variable that we saw earlier that can be interesting. So the rate and the speed will define how fast my projectile will fly, and how fast I can shoot the projectiles. So these are good places to manipulate the data, and probably the best one here is the snowball definition. Now this is a type. More on that later when we talk about the gold one. And we also have the blast radius here. So this place is much better to manipulate this. I'm just going to hard code this value to, for example, 100. That is like 4 times as large. The blast radius is going to be helpful to destroy the environment and get closer to our target elves. Okay, so the next thing after setting the breakpoints to do is set the single player option to true. And you want to set the breakpoints first, because as we reload the game, we're going to hit our breakpoints, and now this is the moment where we can manipulate the data. But I'm just going to quickly jump here. So for the rate, I'm going to, so here the number that is smaller is the better one. So the last throw time plus 10 should be larger than the current time. I think this will give me a very fast rate. Then my breakpoints now. Okay, interesting that it takes away the opportunity for me to jump to the next breakpoint. Then throw speed, I'm also going to hard code this. The default value was 1000. I'm going to set this one to 10,000, for example. There we go. So here we hard coded this value, and we also saw here the speed, and then the blast radius is the last one. I'm gonna set this one to 100. Okay, and I'm going to hit then Control S to save the new JavaScript, and then I'm going to pause on the breakpoints and unpause the game, and then make it full screen. So let's see if this worked. So my projectiles are going with an amazing speed, and look at the blast radius. Like this is gonna be awesome. Very, very unfair game. Okay, so when I hit ready, you will see that the snowballs will start flying around. And what I like to do here is just destroy this so I can get closer, and then I'm just shooting at Wombly, and I'm getting points. Currently it's even. They don't really like, but we'll fix that one soon. And here we have a lot of clicking involved. Yeah, I don't really like this. It feels like that I'm not getting more points compared to the game. No, okay, it's getting better. It's getting better. Okay. Come on. 9 points. Very good. And one disturbing thing that I noticed is that Womblin's team is shooting yellow snowballs. Where did they get the yellow snow? Because I know the answer, but I just don't want to take note of that. Okay, so we're getting there. So now that I went through the iceberg or the ice wall, I think things are speeding up, and you can see that it gets immune as we hit Wombly, but we keep on just shooting at them. Now we almost have like double the points. We're in a good shape. We're in a good shape, and we only have 11 seconds left. That's pretty good. They are no match for our superior power here. Awesome. So we defeated him, and we got a silver medal. It all went well. There we go. We have the interesting. What was the other achievement that we got? Snowball Showdown bronze. Okay, weird. Not really sure why we got the bronze version. Yeah, the bronze version is easy because that's just story mode. Okay, so silver is there, and we have hints. Okay, I think something is very, very flaky here. Hardware, frosty keypad. I'm just looking at what is going on and where we're getting like hints. Oh yeah, so I saw this one that we're getting now the hints for the Act 3 challenges. I think it's a bug. It was appearing for me when I transitioned from Act 2 to Act 3 actually, but apparently we're getting these now. So Frostbite, Forensics, Crypto, and Dev mode. Anyways, that's good. We can talk to the elf. Use hacker skills. Mischievous, and dive to the game's code. Few client-side tweaks, speed, movement. Just help us. A secret weapon. Misplaced. Yeah, so there is a secret weapon. Okay, so let's do that one. Just for the gold challenge. So for the gold challenge, we still need to manipulate the client-side data, but we need to trigger the secret weapon that they misplaced. And they already referred to it a couple of times. So let's create a new private room. And this requires just one single modification, but you need to read the code. So we see the constructor here, and there's also the preload function. These are just a bunch of images, but along the images, we see some interesting ones. So we have ground, ice wall, banner, alabaster, Wombly cube, hand, snowball, practice yellow. Yeah, again, very disturbing. Ched bubble, and then bomber 1, 2, bomber knob, and dwarf min. So these are something called MOASB, which later turns out stands for the mother of all snowballs. And if you check any of these, I have a couple of them saved here actually. Let me just try to get the bomber 1 and 2. And also this bomber knob. I'm not sure if that one is interesting, but you can go and visit these. Sorry, my nose is itching. Okay, so this looks interesting, right? What is this? It's just part of it. Okay. And probably the most interesting is this one. If you played previous years, that little dwarf is confusingly called Elf. That's the name of the dwarf. He's Elf the dwarf. Anyways, it's a reference. It's sort of an Easter egg as well for previous years. I think 2 years ago, Elf appeared in some of the challenges, and people just loved the character. It's a really fun character, and he's riding on top of the mother of all snowballs. This is also sort of a reference Easter egg, I guess, to Dr. Strangelove, which it's a movie that I desperately need to watch. I have not seen it, but the references are all over in pop culture, so that is definitely a reference to them. And now we know that there is some sort of bomb in the code. There are various ways to figure things out. We can also see here that Snowball is a type. I started looking for various types here. So we see here object type elf. That's a message. Type elf. Dwarf do that. I have no idea what that would be. Probably should check that one too. I might do it later. And eventually we reach this part here. Moazb. Send message type Moazb. Like, what is that? And there are not a lot of references here. I don't know if even in the other parts we have any references. There we go. Was started. Propeller stuff. Launch code. Okay, very, very confusing things here, right? There is nothing in this reference though amongst the elves. But hey, the idea is, why don't we go and instead of a snowball, try to make this a Moaz allow pasting. Okay. There we go. Okay, interesting. Okay, so why don't we throw instead of a snowball a Moazb? That's the idea. I still need to switch to single player though, so I have to do this again. Just this one load, and then load it in single player mode. True. Okay, let's jump here to the snowball section. Make this one wasp, save it, and let's see what happens. So the game loads as normal. We can not throw now a snowball, but that thing is coming up with the plane and the big bomb thingy. And I cannot throw a snowball, but once I click, this set of events happen, and the bomb is getting thrown at Wombly. And that's it. That's a gold medal. With a Yippee shout out again. So that's it. That is the gold version of the challenge. It is the bomb, the model of all snowballs being dropped at the poor little elves. So this is also the gold trophy here. Talking to the elf, tells us that yeah, that's mother of all snow bombs. Okay, it's not snow balls apparently, but snow bombs. Whatever. Crazy challenge. But a really fun one. This was a nice little challenge, client-side manipulation. Although this was already in the prologue in one of the games, so I was kind of surprised that we have pretty much the same thing again, just at a different difficulty level. But hey, these are still fun challenges, and Elf the Dwarf was there, so it was important. The next challenge is the Microsoft KC7, which is a challenge with lots and lots of Gusto queries. That challenge had a lot of Gusto queries. So if you want to see how I stumble through a bunch of challenges with Gusto queries, then please head to the next video and we'll solve that challenge.